This is Mac OS Ken.
More money for Apple retail peeps, worry in the NAND flash sector, and Xiaomi is taking aim at Apple. Happy Valentine's Day. It is Monday, the 14th of February, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplisafe.com/macOSKen. This podcast is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Family members, co-workers, significant others. Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help somebody we care about. But we left out one relationship. The one with ourselves. That may sound cheesy, but it's true. You are your most constant companion. So what are you doing to help you? You can talk to yourself. Lord knows I've done that. Or you can talk to a therapist through BetterHelp. I've done that too. Nothing has to be wrong to talk to a therapist. You're just looking out for yourself. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to. My last BetterHelp therapist and I did phone calls and text, which was the way I was most comfortable. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. As mentioned before, this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Mac OS Ken listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. That's BETTERHELP, betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. It's not just greater sick leave and more time off that employees at Apple stores are getting. Last week, we heard that the Cupertino company's retail wing was doubling paid sick leave for full-time and part-time workers, increasing eligibility for paternal leave, speeding up the rate at which retail workers can earn more paid time off, and more such benefits. All of this as workers across many sectors start to balk at business as usual as we enter year 3 of the pandemic. Now a piece from Engadget says Apple's offering store workers one more thing: more money. Citing a piece from Bloomberg, the report says, in the U.S. at least, Apple has increased the pay of some of its retail workers, including sales staff, Genius Bar support personnel, and senior hourly workers, by as much as 10%. Who got how much more depends on where their store is and their exact role, according to the piece. If you work at Apple retail and have not seen a pay increase, well, this conversation just got awkward, didn't it? Indications in the report are that some people only saw pay increases of 2%, while others have seen no bump in pay. More time-related benefits, though, so could be worse. Last week, a spokesperson for Foxconn said that problems appeared to be easing in the supply chain. Not so fast, says the supply chain. According to a piece from 9to5Mac, one of Apple's main flash storage suppliers has revealed a large-scale contamination incident at its production facilities, with TrendForce warning that this could see NAND chip prices rise by up to 10%. It's gonna be great. NAND from the supplier Kioxia is used in many Apple products. Among them are Apple's recent M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBook Pros, iPad Pro, and iPhone 13. According to a piece from The Verge, any potential NAND shortages or price fluctuations could affect the PC market over the next few months. The piece goes on to say it's not clear what caused the contamination, whether products on the market will need to be recalled, or when production will resume. But, it's going to be great. Remember how Xiaomi used to bristle at being compared to Apple? Close to a decade ago, the company's founder and CEO, Lei Jun, told Reuters in an interview, "If people really want to compare Xiaomi to a foreign company, you can say it looks a bit like Apple, but it's really more like Amazon with some elements of Google. So take these three companies together and it's easier to clearly understand what kind of company Xiaomi is. Xiaomi selling mobile phones is like Amazon selling Kindles, so you can understand why we sell them for so cheap." Back in the day, Lei indicated that Xiaomi's business strategy was not centered on the sale of smartphones as Apple's was. Instead, Xiaomi would make its bones selling accessories, making deals with wireless providers, and, wait for it, services. Flash forward 9 years, and Lei is declaring his company in a war of life and death with Apple, the one that seems to be focused on the hardware, not Apple's growing services segment. A piece from Mac Rumors has the same Xiaomi CEO telling the South China Morning Post late last week that his company aims to fully benchmark against Apple in terms of product and experience and become China's biggest high-end brand in the next 3 years. He went on to describe competition with Apple in the high-end smartphone segment as a war of life and death that Xiaomi must overcome. Plans for domination are said to include 30,000 retail stores in China in the next 3 years, up from today's 10,000 stores. The company is also investing almost $16 billion in research and development over the next 5 years, according to the report. Good news about AirTag stalking. It's apparently not nearly as dangerous as some other products out there. Apple Insider highlights a report from the New York Times. While Apple has announced plans to make stalking by AirTag harder, the protections already built in seem to serve potential victims better than trackers from other companies. According to Apple Insider, a privacy reporter for the New York Times tracked her husband with 3 different location tracking devices and, importantly, also with his permission. The 3 devices tried were a Tile, a Land Air Sea GPS tracker, and an AirTag. From a personal safety standpoint, indications are that the Land Air Sea GPS tracker was the worst. That's thanks to a combination of its accuracy and its stealth. The device uses GPS and satellite and updates its location every 3 minutes. Originally designed for tracking airplanes, it does nothing to warn potential stalking victims of potential stalking. As for Tile, the piece says the Tile tracker rarely, if ever, updated its location since it relied heavily on its dedicated network. While that might not make it the best device for stalking somebody, it also might not make it great for actually keeping track of things you need to keep track of. Sitting, it seems, in the Goldilocks spot is Apple's AirTag. While not wonderful out in the boondocks, take it someplace like New York City and it's got creepy accuracy, according to the report. That's thanks to the density of Apple products wandering around in people's pockets. The piece says the reporter was able to tell a hired photographer where her husband was at any moment while he was in the Big Apple. At the same time, AirTag was doing its best to let the guy know that he was being tracked. The downsides were that he had trouble using his iPhone's precision tracking to find the thing, and that he couldn't tell where exactly the AirTag's alert noise was coming from. But he did know that something was up. According to the reporter's husband, for all the bad press the AirTags have gotten, and as flaky as the detection mechanisms were, at least I was consistently getting notifications that they were following me. The privacy dangers of the other trackers were way worse, according to the imitation victim. If you use the Zoom conferencing tool on your Mac, you will want to run the latest update. Since last December, says a piece from 9to5Mac, a number of users have been complaining about a bug that has left a Mac's microphone on even after a Zoom call had ended. Zoom has confirmed that bug, and now the company has released an update to fix it. Actually, what Zoom has confirmed was that for at least some users, the orange indicator light would continue to appear after having left a meeting, a call, or a webinar. According to the company, the bug was addressed in the Zoom client for macOS version 5.9.3, and we recommend you update to version 5.9.3 to apply the fix. Zoom also recommends keeping automatic updates enabled to get security patches as soon as they are released, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. Have you ever wanted to know what's happening at home when you're not there? Take a look at the wireless outdoor camera from SimpliSafe. It lets you see what's happening outside right from your phone and alerts you when anyone approaches, so you always know who's there. So that's the outside covered. As for inside, SimpliSafe has everything you need to keep your home safe, from entry and motion sensors to indoor and, yes, outdoor cameras. And one of the coolest parts? You do it yourself. That's everything from deciding which components are right for your home to getting it up and running. Installing my sensors, keypad, and base station took me under an hour. SimpliSafe is less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts and no commitments either. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/macOSken. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Go to simplysafe.com/macOSken. Apple's got a fourth store planned for the UAE. iDownload blog says the Cupertino company has started teasing its Al Maria Island store in Abu Dhabi. A natural island situated northeast of Abu Dhabi, the piece says Al Maria Island is home to exclusive hotels and businesses. And, of course, an Apple store pretty soon. That said, there is no word yet on exactly when the location will open its doors. News of an interesting-sounding show for Apple TV+. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release late last week announcing the docuseries Omnivore. Narrated by globally acclaimed chef Rene Redzepi, the release says Omnivore will look at the world through the lens of food and explores how food binds and defines us, powers politics, shapes our beliefs, explains our past, and forecasts our future. Omnivore explores the beauty, complexity, and interconnectivity of human culture and the natural world through the way we manipulate, celebrate, and consume its best resources, the ones we eat. Each episode will take viewers on a journey around the world, exploring the ingredients that have built societies, shaped spirituality, and forever altered the human story. Think they'll do Cheese Whiz? I really hope they do Cheese Whiz. Behind the camera on Omnivore, Cary Joji Fukunaga. If you're like me, you may not know the name, but you do know the work. He directed the first series of HBO's True Detective, the film Beasts of No Nation, and the recent James Bond installment, No Time to Die. He's currently directing the Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks-produced series Masters of the Air for Apple TV+. He also has a first-look deal for scripted television projects with the Cupertino streamer. No word on when we can sink our teeth in the Omnivore. And finally today, the hit and miss scheduling of The Problem with Jon Stewart will hit again soon. Apple Insider says the comedian and host took to Twitter late last week to let the world know that the show will be back for 4 weeks, starting on Thursday, the 3rd of March. Unlike the show's first run, episodes will premiere weekly, not every other week. Topics listed by Stewart for this run include Wall Street, climate, race, and the media. Apple Insider also cites a Deadline report saying that the show and its associated podcast will be more closely partnered as far as themes and topics this time around. The next run starts in just under 3 weeks. You can, of course, catch the first 4 episodes of The Problem with Jon Stewart now on Apple TV+. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month with discount code macOSKen at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.